beautiful souls out there. I hope you're able to get out in nature like Starlight is. Woo! So anyway, I love you so much. And I hope you're getting out in nature like Starlight is. And I'll tell you what, I've had a wonderful day. And yesterday was a wonderful day. And I started my day off right, and it was amazing. Right back here in this corner, I did some yoga. Started my morning because I didn't know how hot it was going to get, and I'm not supposed to be in the sun right now because of the medication. But anyway, I love you so much, and thank you for all of you. Yes, all of you. For being here, loving and supporting Starlight. Woo! So, yes, I appreciate all of you, and I really do. So I am grateful for all the people that are here loving and supporting me, whether you've been here a long time or whether you've been in there in between, or maybe you just joined on my YouTube channel. So thank you to all of you. Sorry, Starlight is trying to get this adjusted. And also, if you are new to my YouTube channel, you can follow me on YouTube, and that is at Starlight, and that is Kathy with a K Dingman. Plus, you can give my videos a thumbs up, and you can subscribe to my YouTube channel. Don't be afraid, don't be shy. Swing by and say hi to Starlight by leaving Starlight a message down below. Beep, beep, beep. And you can share my videos with your family, your friends. A silly old rabbit, and a raccoon. I love all the animals. So yeah, you could share my videos with a raccoon, and not only you could share, don't forget the notification bell. And you want to reach out to Starlight on Instagram, please leave me a message, in that video. Say, hey, I'm going to reach out to you, Starlight, and that way I could check out Instagram, because I don't have it on my phone because of space on my phone. That's what I'm dealing with right now. The storage is full. Start all this video and making videos and picture taking. So yes, you could reach me on Instagram, and that is at 1995 Starlight, or on Facebook, and that is Kathy with a K Dingman. And anyone would love to send any love donations you can through my Cash App, and I will have that information here. Ping! There it is. And thank you. This is amazing. I've been going through some wonderful, beautiful, mind-blowing stuff lately, and the universe has a way of rewarding you when you least expect it. I do this a lot with other people, and it's funny when it happens to me. And so this is about putting positivity out in the world, and we all can do it. It doesn't take much, really. It doesn't. It starts with not caring what people think, and smile at people, say hello. It starts the little stuff, and you can build up. And yesterday I was like really, I was doing a lot yesterday, putting positivity out. I was spreading putting water around in the town. I might have to run to my car. Yeah, I'm running to my car, not that I'm afraid, it's just that my phone looking like it's gonna rain, so hang on. So like I was saying, is let's spread positivity out in the world. And I have been going out, and that's what I did yesterday. I was putting so much of my energy of love out in the world and inspiring so many people that are out there, at their jobs, and so making everybody's day. As long as I saw them working and I thought, hey, they're really working good, I'm going to go over there and say, hey, I appreciate you. But if, there was a guy at the park, he could care less. He had an attitude about picking up the garbage. The lady, Now, she was kicking ass. She had one of those grabber things so they don't have to bend over to pick it up. And she was just, she didn't have an attitude. She just kept doing her job. And this other guy, he was just slowly getting over there and just I'm not going to come to you and say I appreciate you because you didn't even want to be there anyway. So, So I might have to go underneath here. It might be a little loud when I do this, but I'm going to need the window open. So right now it's starting to rain, and that's why Starlight had to switch things over in her car. But people need positivity, and it makes people feel good. I go around all the time. I made this lady, she was in an electrical chair yesterday at Walmart, and she had this beautiful, she was dressed right up, really beautiful. And I went up to her and I said, wow, I love what you're wearing. It looked beautiful. Everything that she wore, it blended in. And, I even went to her a couple times, 2 times, just saying, wow, I love what you're wearing. And then I went back to her because I was going around and I said, it just blends and you look so beautiful with what, the outfit that, and she's like, oh, it doesn't take much. There's some people, it's all about them. It's all about me. It's all about me. They don't go around and try to make people, but on that note, you first have to do it to yourself. How can you spread positivity out in the world how do you think about yourself? How do you look at yourself? What do you think about yourself? Are you stuck in the past? Thinking of all the shouldas and couldas, but didn't? Are you thinking about what everybody says about you? And I'll tell you what, that part there about, listening to what everybody says, like your family or people in the past, or, number one, it doesn't matter what people say to you. Number two, if it was something in the past, it was in the past. And we're being tested all the time. Wherever you go, the people that you're around, we're being tested, And the more we put energy to those things, and I'll tell you, I'm learning, you put energy on negative things that happened in your past, more of that stuff is going to come in, because you're not like letting that go. You're not loving yourself for who you are today. And you might not be who you want to be right now, but it's coming. So you might not be where you want to be right now, but it doesn't mean that you have to stay the same the rest of your life. So you got to love yourself enough and work on yourself, because first you got to be there for you. So you got to first love yourself in order for you to spread that love out somewhere else. And if you're not that person that's making other people's day, guess what? You gotta pour that on your own life, your own, well-being. You gotta tell yourself how wonderful you are. Oh, but Starlight, I'm not wonderful. I know I do these things, and I know I upset people. But you know what? Anyone can change if they want to. And a lot of times it's that we gotta let go of things in the past. When you're holding on so tight to something that was and isn't no more, you're losing out on really the good things that could happen in your life and the beautiful people that you can meet along the way. And if you're thinking about what your family thinks, and I used to be there, thinking, but I was a good person. I say I was a good person because I always was helping people out my whole entire life. I wasn't good to myself, so you got to let go, and it doesn't matter what people think. It doesn't matter what your family thinks, but we need to spread more positivity out. And like I said yesterday, I get people looking at me and I'm like, I even drive down my road in my car. I'm addicted to this stuff. It's amazing. I drive around, not all the time because I need to focus on my driving, if there's, if a light and all that stuff. But as much as possible, I will drive by people and wave at them. They're like, who is that chick? Who is that lady? I do this all over, opening up doors, and I make them feel amazing. We can surprise people by, when you open up the door at, a store or wherever you're opening up a door out in a public area. I did this, there was 2 people heading to the door, and I was just spreading love everywhere I went yesterday. And I do this all the time, but yesterday was a big bomb day, and I just opened up the door, and I'm like, here you go, and they're like, wow, thank you. It wasn't like just opening up the door, all right, hurry up, get in there. I made them feel like, they're special, and they are. But not a lot of people think they're special, because of their past and what people said and the things they've done. And if you feel guilty about some of the stuff you did in the past, you've got to let that go. You got to understand that's an old version of yourself that you used to be. And the more you work on yourself, you know what? You could change that. You don't have to be who you are today all the time. But you got to put effort, and you got to work at it. And it doesn't happen overnight. And, when you start making those changes, that means get along with yourself. Get alone with yourself. Find out, who are you? Who are you? Go out and, I was this person. I actually did look up to somebody a long time ago because I'm like, wow, they don't let no one stop them. There's people out there that are single that don't have anybody, what? And they don't do shit. They just mope around and they're waiting for that one to fulfill them. But no, you got to fulfill yourself first. You got to fill your own cup up, Fill your cup up, Work on yourself. Stop thinking that they're going to come in and take care of you and fix you, because no, you're the one that's got to fix you. And you got to love yourself and know that you are worthy. And when you feel good about yourself, then you can go out there and make other people feel like sunshine. And so I'm making this video because I am normally the one. Like yesterday, I went to go get food at a food pantry. Bam, I seen this. I've helped this lady out 3 times, a homeless chick out here that pushes a grocery cart around with all her stuff. So yesterday I seen her and I said, hey, how are you doing? She was a distance away because I had to use the bathroom. And when I got done, I let her know, hey, there's some water up here. I put some water over here by the bathroom. So if you need it, and whoop, there it goes. There, it's gone. It was gone. Apparently she needed that water. And I was heading to my car. And I'm like, hey, come over here. I tell her, hey, if I got food and you're around, I will help you out. And so yesterday, again, helping her out because she needs it, vegetables, fruit, and all this yummy stuff. So, but you can't do that if your cup is empty. Is your cup full or is it empty? And I do this all over. I actually was telling somebody yesterday, and I got the town mixed up. I was telling them how I go help the homeless people, and I said I just helped this homeless person, just today, at the one park. And I'm like, wait a minute, not that park, it was over this park. Because I do, I help people at this park and that park. But we need positivity. We need inspiration. When's the last time you inspired somebody? When's the last time you inspired yourself? Say, I can do this. I am affirmations are amazing. I do them every morning. Once my car is starting, and I get on the road, first I pray for a shield of protection around me and other people. It's so important. It's not just about my ass. It's about the people around me. And I say this because I told you the other day, Pay attention. I was in the parking lot yesterday at a park. Couldn't believe this. As I was driving through to get all the way at the end so I can see if I can cook my food there or not, there was a car, and I seen some, it looked like a kid behind the car. And I don't know, he's probably going in the car. I would have never thought he was going to do this. He's old enough to know, but you never know. Some people, they might have some kind of ADHD or, some kind of thing that they're dealing with, and you would never know that, right? So that's why you do got to pay attention. What is it? With the motorcycles, it says look twice to save a life. You've got to do this now. I'm telling you, look twice to save a life. That little boy, about 7, 8 years old, he was on the other side of the car. I couldn't see him, but I seen something, and he was small, so I figured it was a boy or a girl or some child. And so as I was slowly going through, making sure, that he's safe and I'm not, I'm paying attention. His family was, talking to somebody where the picnic tables were, maybe 25 feet away. And they never yelled out to him and said anything to him. I thought, they're not saying anything. I figured he should be old enough to know, I couldn't freaking believe it. I was backing my car up and I seen him on the side of me. It's like, holy shit. If I didn't look twice, that kid was, acting like he was going to walk behind my car. So you do got to pay attention. Look twice to save that life, because, man, that would have sucked, Who would have thought the kid would have walked behind my car, seeing that I'm backing up? So we got to be careful out there. And also, I just need to say that anyway, even though that has nothing to do with this topic today. But we need to send, first, if you got issues with yourself, you need to work on yourself. You need to get alone. You need to love yourself and know that you are worthy. And, you got to, a lot of people do this. They feel bad because they feel guilty of the stuff they did a long time ago. You don't have to still be that person today, We need to spread that positivity out and let people know what they mean to us, Work on relationships, work on family issues, work on friends, if you're in a, romantic relationship, and you haven't been talking, you've been too busy, chasing the dollar bill, or too busy, running here and there. We need to slow down and take the time for the people that matter the most to us, because you don't know how long they're going to be here. I've been hearing a lot of people, they lost somebody. The other day, I talked to a lady, and she's like, in the food line, in the food pantry line, gave her a lot of great wisdom. She goes, yeah, I just lost my brother. I'm like, I'm so sorry, And so God, there's nothing, no accidents. It was no accident that we were in that same line. So I was helping her out, And she goes, now, that we got this other relative, they're sick and they're going through stuff. And, it is something how people, they do this. They got one person that just passed away, and now they're already acting like this other person's going to die. And I said, well, you know what? You all can change that around by thinking positive. It's all up here. If you all going to think he's going to die, well, I didn't need to explain that. I didn't say all that way, but I'm just saying to you guys, so positivity will get you far, and so you got to send that love out to yourself first before, fill up your cup. Say, what, it doesn't matter what you did before. It's who you are today. Who are you today? Do you know who you are? If you don't, more than likely you don't. A lot of people think they know who they are. They think who they were yesterday and who they were last week is who they are. All that, it can change. It can change. But you gotta want to make that change. You gotta want to take that step. Nobody can make you do it. Nobody can, people can help you, guide you, but you gotta do the work. You gotta take those steps. And the reason I'm making this video is because I am always the one out there inspiring people And I was in the library trying to work on, not trying, but working on my phone, making space on my phone. And there's a guy that was standing there, and I was talking to the ladies because I was having issues with my phone, and they got new computers and things might not be working right. And the lady was trying to help me out with my situation on my phone and on the computers. And so I seen this guy standing there, didn't know him, didn't recognize him, and I went back out to my car. It's amazing. He came out, he goes, you know what? This is the universe, because I am spreading love out. I'm spreading positivity out. I wasn't looking for this. I didn't ask for this. But it's kind of funny. God knows I needed money for something. Starlight always needs money for something. So if anybody would love to send any love donations, Starlight always has a need. There's no doubt on that. But anyway, this man walked up to me, the same man that was in the library. He goes, you know what? He handed me $10. He goes, you know what? It's not much, but keep on spreading the positivity out there. And like, where did he come from? Because he must have seen my stickers on my car. That's the only way I'm thinking that. He doesn't know me. He must have checked out one of my videos or checked out something on my YouTube channel. And that's what it's about, And I'm used to doing that to people, coming up to people, here, you need any food? I'm not used to people, coming up to me and like giving me money, but that's how the universe works. The universe is all over, God is everywhere, all around. So be careful what you learned in church. God's everywhere. God put it on that man's hearts because God sees how much I'm working and how, the changes that I'm doing and how disciplined I've been and how focused I've been and the love that I'm putting out, the time that it takes for me to go get the food, organize it, and then, my heart. Have you ever cried for a homeless person? I do. I did. Yesterday, I gave this lady strawberries. I had 2 packages. Boy, those strawberries looked really good, and I had to eat them up really fast. And I was like, oh man, these are a lot of strawberries. Universe, what am I going to do with these? Well, the universe sent this, homeless lady. And, I get moments, I'm like, man, I wish people had the heart like I do. Have you ever cried over anybody, that's out there struggling? And saying, man, I enjoyed the first pack of strawberries that I had, and I knew I had to eat the other ones quick or do something with them. But she needed those, the fruit that I gave her and the vegetables or whatever I gave her, And I'm like, man, I'm grateful that I have a car. You guys have a home. You got somewhere to lay your head. She's got marks on her face. I don't know what happened. But I got emotional over her, because I care about her. I love her. I don't know her. I don't need to know her. But we need to send positivity out. And that guy inspired me so much. That made me feel like, that God, nothing is unseen with God, the universe, or whatever. God sees who you are and what you're doing. And if you don't like who you are, you can change. You can be that change that you want to see in the world. And it starts today. Don't put this off. Hey, yeah, Starlight, great video. I'll do that next week. No. You could start tomorrow. The other day I witnessed, and it was so beautiful. There's 2 men in line, and the guy in front of me had some drinks in his hands, and the guy in front of him says, hey, you know what, I'll buy that for you. And so the guy that actually had his drinks bought for him, he looked at me, and I didn't have anything in my hand because I actually just needed gas. And he goes, he was going to pay for my whatever, but I didn't have anything. And I go, oh, I'm getting gas. He goes, oh, because I was just going to do what he did, buy, whatever. So, you know what? It takes something simple like that, step by step, doing something kind, just, reaching out to somebody. Go buy a case of water, go pass it to somebody, If you don't have, you can set it, you don't even have to go to people. But you know what? Nothing's unseen. Just going out and doing that, you're making somebody's day. I know what it's like. There's been times I didn't have water, and I went somewhere, and somebody left water somewhere right where I need, like, that shit doesn't happen by accident. God put it, because God's in all of us, God put it in somebody's heart to put that water there, knowing that I was going to come there and I needed it. Many times it's happened. Many times. There was a place that I went hiking before. It was so crazy. Somebody went around and they had bowls and they put them out on this hiking trail and they put water in these bowls, so then when dogs went around and, with their owners, that they had water to drink on the way through these hot trails. That took time to do that, carrying the water everywhere, and there's people, I call them the water fairy. So we can make a difference in the world, but you gotta fill your cup up first. I love you so much, and I love the rain. So this is beautiful. Starlight loves taking pictures out here. So there's rain all around here. These are God's blessings pouring out on you. You could receive it today, but you gotta really forgive yourself. Stop listening to other people, and you could be a blessing today. And you don't have to go get a case of water, but open up a door and smile. It's a little steps by, and after a while you'll be like Starlight, going addicted to this stuff. I love you, and I appreciate all of you. Let's send some positivity out and love out in the world, because the world definitely needs it. A lot of people are going through some hard stuff right now, and like I was saying earlier, I forgot what I was saying there, is that lady that her family passed away. I said, I believe we control the weather. And she's, some people will say, I don't know if she was being her authentic self. I said, because like with her family, saying, hey, this one passed away and now this one's over here sick, and it's negative energy, and my intuition was like, she was acting like I would say something, oh yeah, that's what, oh yeah. I'm like, nah, you know what, because if it was yeah, you wouldn't even be saying all these negative things about all this stuff as negative energy she was sending out. I was helping her replace that and look at things the bright way. I said, like the weather, I believe the news people say, oh yeah, there's going to be a big storm. So everybody's like, oh, did you hear there's going to be a big storm? And then they pass it around. Hey, did you hear there's going to be a big storm? Hey, and they pass it around. There's going to be a foot of snow this week, Friday. And then they go, like a virus, like a fear virus, spreading it around. Now you could be like Starlight and like, hey, it is not even Friday yet, I'm in the now moment, I'm not gonna, you gotta be careful of that. Imagine this, that instead of going around and telling everybody that, there's gonna be a foot of snow, I believe we control the weather, by when we're all thinking that it's gonna, a big storm is gonna, the way the news people say this stuff. Well, yeah, now there's going to be a big storm coming Friday, because so many people believed in all the energy, was it energy goes where energy flows, So what if we actually reverse that? And it's like, no, Friday's going to be beautiful. Hey, Friday's good, but this is, just like thinking somebody's sick and lost somebody now, and now somebody's sick. Now everybody's thinking, oh, maybe they're going to get, maybe they're going to die, So you got to really watch out what you think. So I love you so much. Let's turn this around by thinking positive, and sending that positive frequency out in the world. I love you so much. This is Starlight. Namaste. This is Starlight, love, light, and peace. Thank you for watching. This is Starlight. Namaste. This is Starlight, love, light, and peace.